Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam with the commentary of Srila Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakur. Today we begin chapter 2 of the first canto. It is entitled Stages of Bhakti. The son of Romaharshana, or Suta Goswami, delighted at the questions of the sages. Respecting their words, he began to speak. So after the inquiry of the sages of Naimisharanya, now with chapter 2, we hear the beginning of the teachings of Suta Goswami. Commentary. In the second chapter, there is the description of 3 items. This is called Abhideya, Prayojana, and Sambandha, the nature of truth, the process of achieving that truth, bhakti, the goal of that truth, prayojana, and prem, which is the final goal, or the object of worship is the Supreme Lord Krishna. So here Sutta begins, Suta Uvaca. Shri Suta says, I offer my respects to the sage Shukadev, who has entered the mind of all beings and to whom Vyas, his father, cried out with pain of separation, O son, when Shukadev, he cried out in separation, O son, when Shukadev, without even undergoing any samskaras, left home and could not be brought back. Even the trees being attached to Shukadev called out, O son, like an echo. So here Sutta begins with referencing Shukadev. We have to know that the Bhagavatam here is spoken in remembrance of the teachings of Shukadev Goswami, who spoke this to Maharaj Parikshit. So this is Suta Goswami going to describe the incident of how Shukadev entered into the assembly at the same place, Naimisharanya, where Maharaj Parikshit went when he had heard that he was to die in 7 days, being cursed by a Brahmin boy. So he says, first, I offer my respects to the sage Shukadev, who previously spoke this Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit, and whose father is Vyasadev, the original author of the Veda. Shukadev was so advanced that when he became capable, that is, in his youth, he immediately renounced home and walked out, even without undergoing any purificatory ceremonies. Means he did not get the sacred thread or anything like that. He was so detached, and also he was being called for the purpose of speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. He knew that. So here, commentary, Sutta begins to reflect. As answers to their questions, I will speak the essence of all scriptures, the very substance. They have asked for the essence. So this was the question or the plea of the sages of Naimisharanya, that you give us the essence of all Vedic wisdom. So he's thinking, they have asked for the essence, which will also please their intellects. If their intellects are not satisfied, what will happen? So he's evaluating their questions and thinking how to answer. Therefore, among all the essences, I should seek out that which is pleasing to the intellect, as decided by the most righteous of persons. Even though some righteous persons will say that the intellect is pleased with Sankhya, an analytical study of things, some people will say that the intellect is pleased with Mimamsa. Others will say the Upanishads, or others will say Vedanta Sutras, which discern the conclusions of the Upanishads. All that cannot be admitted, that there are people who find something satisfying to their intellect, which may be different from someone else. But he's thinking, what will be satisfying to the intellect of all? Not that one person likes this, one person likes that, but if you're thinking in terms of the entirety of the population, what will be pleasing to their intellect? Among the sages, the chief was Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasadeva, who knows all the philosophies, who wrote the Vedanta Sutras, and whose vision is based upon his own clarity of mind. He thinks, I should speak that scripture, which remained steady, without objections from anyone. No one objected in the assembly that we want to hear something else, because it gives pleasure to all the sages. After withstanding the test of all the great luminaries, the greatest philosophers present in that assembly gathered around King Parikshit, I should speak that scripture, which is pure like the Jambunad river. That is, I should speak the Bhagavatam. Therefore, I first should surrender myself to Sri Shukadev, who is identified as the original speaker of the Bhagavatam. I should surrender to Sri Shukadev, the speaker of the Bhagavatam. And thus he recites this verse. Shukadev had departed, leaving everything. Though he was nearby, Vyas could not catch him. He had not received his sacred thread or any of the other samskars. Vyas called out with protracted words, "O son!" But not only his father had great affection for him, but everyone who saw him awakened some form of affection for this personality. He was so luminous in his presence that everyone felt something when they saw him. And here it says, even the trees echoed back, O son, O son. He who worships the Lord of all living entities, all moving and non-moving beings, become controlled by him. Thus even the trees lamented, because Shukadev was purely connected with the Lord. Everyone found attraction to that Shukadev. Thus even the trees lamented. Being completely attached to Shukadev, the trees echoed that were facing him, calling out in the form of echoes, O son! When a person is attached to something, he is said to be tanmaya. Thus Srimaya means a person who is attached to women. But this affection for a person who resides in the mind of all living beings, like the attraction of the all-attractive deity of the Lord, is not a material illusion. So it was not simply because of a father-son bond either. It was because he was a luminary. His presence reflected the presence of God. So his father was naturally attached, and anyone who saw him was naturally attached. So this is not a fault if Vyas seems to lose his sense of discrimination. We have to understand it was not that Vyasadeva, because of some familial affection, was, oh my son, but he was calling out, oh my son, because of his attraction to that personality who was luminous like the sun. There is another meaning. The trees, as another form of Shukadev, called out an echo, O son, to answer Vyas. If I am your son, when you are also my son, illusion is the cause of thinking. I am the father and you are the son. So in kind of a humorous way, the father is calling out, oh son, but here it says, another meaning could be there, that the trees imitating on behalf of Shuka says, oh son, why are you feeling like this? Who is the father? Who is the son? In other words, in Vedic conception, the son can also be the father if he is more prominent in his wisdom and spiritual position. Then even the father should sit down and listen to the son. So here is kind of a sarcastic almost joking situation. "Oh son," the echo goes back. "I am the Father, you are the Son. Who is the son of whom? Who is the father of whom?" Enlightening Vyas about this truth, they all hinted, "Why are you bewildered? You are Vyasadeva," in other words. Why are you bewildered? For establishing attachment to Shukadeva, it is then described that he had entered into the minds of all living entities, Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munim, by the power of his own yoga. That being so, let him also enter my heart and speak the Bhagavatam through my mouth. So Suta Goswami is also thinking, he is so powerful that he attracts all beings, enters into the hearts of all. Whoever saw him, or now even whoever hears his words, becomes attracted to Shukadeva. He's an all-attractive personality because he carries the Lord within his heart. So here Suta says, if he can enter into the heart of all, let him enter into my heart also, because I want to speak the Bhagavatam, but I'll let him speak the Bhagavatam through my mouth. Let him enter my heart and let him speak the Bhagavatam to enlighten these sages who are questioning me, and use my mouth as the vehicle for his expression of the truth of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He who can enter into dull trees and pacify his father by answering back can also certainly enter my heart and please the intellect of all the hearers of the Bhagavatam. Implied here is the rule that at the time of lecturing, other speakers of the Bhagavatam should also meditate in this way, that we are not the speaker. We are representative of Shukadeva. That's why the Guru is honored to be called Vyas Puja Day, as the representative of Vyas. From Vyas, they come Shuka, and like that. So Vyas is the original author, and Shukadeva spoke the essence of all of that. So the idea is that the speaker should always humbly think that I am not the speaker. I am representing the message of Shukadeva. Therefore, let him speak through me. Let him, and it's a type of surrender, let him speak through me. And so, almost in a trance-like state, the speaker can begin to speak as if he's also hearing. The speaker is also sometimes the hearer. He's hearing the words as they come out from his mouth. And that is because Shukadeva is speaking. We know sometimes the author of different books, Vaishnava philosophy books, say, I don't know, I was just writing. It was like Krishna was moving my hand and making the words. So this is the most wonderful thing, that the Lord or his devotee can enter into our heart, and we, in all humility, can represent them and let them speak through us. The third verse says, I surrender to that son of Vyas. So here's Suta Goswami again, thinking that I am going to speak that which is most pleasing. And as I have deduced that it is Shukadeva who spoke that most pleasing message of the Bhagavatam, and no one objected. Everyone was entranced. So I surrender to that son of Vyas, that incomparable guru of all the sages, who mercifully spoke this Purana, full of hidden meanings, which is the essence of all the scriptures, the essence of hearing, for the benefit of all the people of this world, even in the future, and who spoke this Bhagavatam and revealed the excellence of Ras to Shukadeva, which is the revealer of Atma, for those desiring to cross the dense ignorance with ease. This Bhagavatam, which revealed the excellence of Ras, the highest understanding of the relationship of the living being in connection with Krishna, the very form of Ras. So commentary says, Suta here says that Shukadeva inspired him due to his mercy. He should not only deliver Parikshit, but he should also deliver all the persons born in this world and in the future. Why should it be only limited to the one person, Maharaj Parikshit? He's thinking, let this Bhagavatam be spread. The message of the Bhagavatam be spread to all people. He spoke the essence, the most valuable thing. Therefore, let me be the instrument of Suta, of Shukadeva, and speak this message so that it can be recorded and all can know. And that's why, in one sense also, Srila Prabhupada thought, what is the most essential scripture I should bring to the West? The essence of all, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And thus Prabhupada worked from the very beginning. He compiled the first canto in 3 volumes and brought that over to the West on the Jaladuta boat that he traveled on to get to the Boston Harbor and ultimately ending up in New York like that. And now the Bhagavatam is spread all over. The glories of the Bhagavatam is being spread. And this was this actual desire of Suta Goswami when he contemplated the message of the Bhagavatam being asked by the sages of Naimisharanya, what would be the best message to hear? What will give us the greatest satisfaction, pleasing our intellect, and bringing joy to the heart? The Srimad Bhagavatam, that which was spoken by Shukadeva. I will narrate to you now. So here he praises Shukadeva, thinking that this message is so valuable, and this is the very dawning of the age of Kali. Why should we not broadcast this message as the light of the darkened age of Kali Yuga? So we are thankful, therefore, to Suta Goswami, who's thankful to Shukadeva, who originally spoke it, but Suta decided to bring it out again to the world, not to be limited to those who were gathered with Maharaj Parikshit. So here he decides that let the glories of the Bhagavatam be heard. And we understand that this is the message of the Acharyas, that this message of the Bhagavatam should be spread to all people during this darkened age. It is the most valuable wisdom to be had. So this should be delivered to all persons born within this world, even within the future. At that moment, Suta remembered all the future generations. And for those who desire to cross this dense ocean of ignorance with great ease, the Bhagavatam causes revelation of the jiva. He who controls the elements of the body, such as the Mahatattva. This refers to a secondary result of the Bhagavatam, a destruction of ignorance for those who are desirous of liberation. It not only destroys ignorance, but ultimately it awakens within us the highest sense of ras, prem bhakti. So Bhagavatam is the seed of this prem bhakti that can sprout within our heart, bringing about genuine love, following the ways of Braj Dham, following the ways of Shrimati Radharani and the gopis of Braj, and the cowherd boys, and the motherly and fatherly affections of Nanda and Jashoda, like that. For pure devotees, Bhagavatam contains the essence of all the Shrutis, the Upanishads. Bhagavatam is the essence of those who relish it with the ear by hearing. This is indicated where it is stated that Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the tree of the Vedas. For Shukadeva as well, Bhagavatam revealed the power of abundant rasa. And thus it is said, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, that son of Vyasudev, Shukadeva Goswami, who destroys all sin and who, though fixed in his own bliss with no distractions, became attracted to the pastimes of Krishna, and mercifully spread the Bhagavatam, which describes Krishna and reveals the rasa of his pastimes. It is also said that his mind also became attracted to the qualities of the Lord by studying the Bhagavatam. O saintly king, I was certainly situated perfectly in transcendence. This is Shukadev's statement, that I was already on the platform of liberation, and I saw no difference between one thing or another. Situated in the absolute Brahman. I was certainly situated perfectly in that state of transcendence. Yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who is described by enlightened verses, meaning that there is something higher than even liberation or perceiving the oneness of everything. There is something else that is found within all, including Krishna, and that is handed down to all of us, is that we are all seeking love. And that is in the essence of the jiva himself. Every spark of individual soul and Krishna himself, who is the source of all, seeks out love. So Krishna makes himself available to be loved and to give love. And that rasa is expressed here. Going beyond liberation, we come to the level of prema. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is the deliverer of prema ras. That which produced Shukadev's power. This explanation indicates that Bhagavatam made Shukadev superior to all the other sages, because although he was situated on the level of transcendence, somehow he got the opportunity to hear about the transcendental pastimes of Krishna. And this awakened within him a desire to taste that prema, even though he was desireless. So even a desireless sage will awaken a desire to know more and more about Krishna, and the desire to taste the bliss or the happiness of that union of love. So Ekam means incomparable, without a second. Shukadev became the guru of all the sages, such as Narada and Vyas, who were seated in the assembly of Maharaj Parikshit, because they were also eager to know what Shukadev had experienced. They all knew about Shukadev. He was already an enlightened sage, but he was going to express something that he had hadn't spoke of before. He is going to do now. So all the sages assembled, even the father, Vyasadeva. That's because now the son has become the superior, again, from the original part of the reading. So they all gathered, Narada, Vyas, all part of our divine lineage, are enlightened by the words of Shukadev from the Bhagavatam. They were all seated in the assembly of Maharaj Parikshit, and he taught them the Bhagavatam as if it had not been heard before. The Bhagavatam must be taught to them as well, even to those who are considered sages or enlightened beings. This Bhagavatam is a message for all. From the highest to the lowest, the Bhagavatam is that which gives the greatest gift to all. Jai Gaur Premanandi Haribol. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.